What's up guys, back with another Twinmotion tutorial. I'm going to show you how I created this rendering using Twinmotion. Let's get right into the video. Alright, so we are looking at our 3D scene and we have a game room that I designed. And if you haven't seen the first tutorial, check it out. Let me know what you think. I go into the elements that I use to actually create this 3D scene. I use a lot of Sketchfab. This model is modeled with Revit, and check out my website at reboot.com to check out the 3D scene that is available. I also got a lot of these images off Google, and just kind of give you a little bit of overview of what we're working with, just so you can kind of see. But for this tutorial, we're going to focus more on the lighting and the path tracer settings. So guys, stick around. This is going to be a fun one. I really like how this rendering turned out, and don't be afraid to leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know if you think this rendering turned out very well or not. I'm open to your criticism and your opinions. All right, so let's see what we got here. All right, so we already got our image, we got our perspective, already got our composition, and we're going to start playing around with some of the settings and see if we can get a very cool looking in the game room from the outside in this kind of lobby area. All right, so right now in our environment tab, we have HDRI and we have Sky Dome. We're going to change our HDRI. We're going to go to our library, and in our library you do have a set of default HDRIs that Twinmotion does offer. But for this one, we're going to go to my user library. We're going to go to our local HDRI, and I use day environment, and this day environment I use the 8K. So you see I have two different kinds. They look the same, but one is a 12K and one is an 8K. We're going to use an 8K just for the sake of time. And you know, when you're trying to render something that has higher quality, it takes more time to render, and your computer starts lagging. But we're going to use 8K, so we're just going to drag and drop here, and as you can see, that did change up our scene a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to make some more adjustments. So we're going to change our intensity. Well, before I do that, I do want to kind of do a low level rendering. I start to see a lot of people start off with high render settings. So instead of doing that, start off with a low render settings where you're probably in the medium or low level, or even you can do high, because the high is at 256 samples per pixel, which is really not that high. So this is just to gradually kind of see what your scene is doing as you're making adjustments to your settings for the path tracer, and just to kind of, you know, so it won't take a lot of power and a lot of time to see the results at the end. So I gradually like to set my settings low and make adjustments as I get to the end. All right, so guys, don't forget to smash that like button for me and hit the notification bell. All right, so as you can see, we got our scene here. Let's continue to make some adjustments. We're gonna keep our intensity at 1, and we're gonna change our rotation to 60. So that brightened up our scene just a little bit. All right, so before I actually get into going into the camera settings, because I think here I didn't change a whole lot. As you can see, I just changed my HDRI, and I have HDRI and Sky Dome here. All right, so before we go any further, let's quit our mode here, and let's start applying some of that lighting I was telling you about. So I wanted this scene to have that gaming style, the RGB lighting, and a lot of bright colors, just to help that space to stand out very well. And let's go to our user library, and as you can see, I have neon, blue, red, and more of a yellowish kind of color. And we're just going to help brighten up our scene with some of these artificial lighting. So as you can see, if you click on our material picker here, as you can see, I have like this metal signage, and I want to brighten up that signage. So we're just gonna drag here. And the reason why that's doing that is because I didn't change my replacement material. So let's escape out of that. Let's change that to apply to object. And now we're going to change that. All right, so that glow is at 28. I actually want to make that 0.5. So you don't want it to be too bright. So when you render it, it's going to be way too bright, and that's not what we want. So let's see. You know what? That's a little too low. Let's knock it up to. Sorry. Let's change that to 5.0. All right, there we go. So that looks better, and you can change the color temperature here. So we have at 4700. You can make it more orange, or you can make it cooler. We're gonna stick with the color temperature of 4700. All right. Sorry about that. Now let's change that. Okay. So now we're inside the game room here, and as you can see, we don't have any lighting. So, and that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to apply this lighting. So if you notice the rendering, it had a lot of blue, red colors in it, which turned out pretty well. So I used this neon, the same neon color, and I made it blue. So I'm going to hover over my lighting strips. So I modeled these lighting strips in Revit, and they're already in place. So I'm just gonna make those blue, and we can just click on that, and right now you can see the glow on how much glow we want on it. You can make it as you can make it glow as much as you want to. I wouldn't suggest that you have it glow way too much, because then you will the image won't look very good. So you'll want to blow out your image. So we'll keep it at 100, and you can also change the color temperature there as well. So something really cool that I did. So I rendered this, I modeled this in Revit, and there's little strips of lighting that I actually modeled in here just to light up this case here. So I believe I used the blue here. There. All right. You know what? I think I used red here. So we're just going inside. We're gonna make that red. Okay. Then I did the same thing for this one. I'm gonna make that blue. All right, so now you can see our casings that is housing our computers is giving different colors. So you got red and you got blue. So that's all I did to give that look that you see here, which looks pretty good. And as you can see, now we're gonna jump into our settings and to give that other glow effect to help set this scene off. All right, so guys, don't forget to smash that like button for me and hit the notification bell. All right, so go to camera, and we're going to leave our auto exposure on, and we're going to make some adjustments here. So let's go to exposure. We'll make it 0.75, and our white balance here is at 6900. We're gonna make that 5000. So you're starting to see how my scene is starting to take shape. It's starting to replicate that blue around my space to give it that game-like look. All right, so we got 5,000 there. Okay, so now we click on our local exposure. Let's kind of see some of the things that we can change there. I want to make that 0.65, and we'll change our shadows. So we're gonna make our shadows 1. So now when we cranked up our shadows to 1, as you can see, that darkened everything, but we still have our artificial lights that's giving it that blue and that red that's actually bringing out that game room, which is making it look really good in my opinion. All right, so we want to change our focal length to 16. We want to back out just a little bit, just so we can see the stairs and see everything else that's going on in the space. Okay, so now let's go to details, and let's change our vignetting to 45. We're going to change our sharpness to 20%. All right, we're going to click on parallelism. So here, when we go to render, you can choose to crank up our rendering to a higher quality, move up our samples per pixel. Right now, we're going to keep it at 256 because we still have some more adjustments that I need to make. So as you can see, it looks pretty good, but let's go to FX and see what else we can do to enhance our scene. All right, so right now our contrast is at 38%. We're going to keep it there. Saturation is at 45%. We're going to keep that 45% as well. And what I want to do, which I thought was pretty cool, when you go to color gradient, you have these different options where we can make our scene look the way we want. So in my opinion, I chose ISM, and you're going to see why. But as you can see, just clicking on these different color gradients, I could have chose different ones, and I think the scene still would have looked pretty cool. And I think that looks pretty cool, but I chose ISM, and you can see the difference in ISM from all the other options that I have. But ISM really, in my opinion, brought out the blues and the reds and the RGB lighting, and it really brought out the scene to where I wanted to give it that gaming style, competition like vibe. So I got what I was looking for. All right, so now we're gonna go to filter. We're gonna add line light to that, and here we can go to output size, and I originally made it an 8K, but we can do 4K for now. If you want a higher quality image, of course you can do 8K or higher. And our scene is saving here. And just don't forget, when you're working in Twinmotion, I haven't had any issues lately, but I still keep my save mode on in 15-minute intervals. And if you're wondering where to find that, I believe you go to Edit, Preference, and you can scroll down and you can go to Save here. Yep, so I got it at 15-minute intervals, auto save, and you just press OK. Just so you're safe, you won't lose any of your work, which is very important. I suggest that you practice that. All right, so now let's go back to render, and we're gonna crank up our samples per pixel to 2048. I want to change my max bounce. I'm gonna do 30, and we're gonna make our fireflies 8. All right, so guys, that scene came out pretty good. I really think that it really gave it that gaming vibe, that competition like that I was looking for. And guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to smash that like button for me, hit the notification bell, and we'll be back with another one.